What's up guys, welcome back to the Comics Clash. As Christopher Nolan has released his latest film in theaters, Oppenheimer, today I'm going to be ranking all 12 Christopher Nolan movies from the worst to the best. As a disclaimer, Christopher Nolan is my favorite director of all time, and I don't think he has an outright bad movie, so even the lower ones on this list I still quite enjoy. With that said, let's dive right into the video. Alright, so in last place for me is going to be Insomnia. Now this is just a pretty generic detective story, there's nothing too much to it. The acting's alright, Al Pacino is really great in the role. There's some nice action moments here and there, I like the ending scene. But overall, it's just really generic, very forgettable. There's nothing that really makes it stand out to any other detective film or any other film in Christopher Nolan's filmography. I do enjoy little bits here and there. There are really some good action scenes. There's a little bit of a nice story with the insomnia and the guilt that our main detective has. But overall, it's just kind of mid when it comes to Christopher Nolan films and just comes off really forgettable. In 11th place for me is going to be Tenet. Now, I know a lot of people really enjoy this film, but I don't. It's very confusing. You don't really get invested with the characters, and it's just one that I just don't really connect to a lot with, and I don't enjoy it all that much. Don't get me wrong, there are some amazing action scenes in this movie, and the score is absolutely amazing. There's a lot to love about Tenet, sure, but overall, it just doesn't really come together for me in the end. It's very confusing. There's a lot of elements that kind of don't really work about the film. Story elements with our characters and their development is just not really great because you don't really feel a connection with any of these characters. I don't really care about them all that much. And I just think that Nolan just kind of made a little bit of a mess even though he was trying to convey something that could have really worked. Even with the twist at the end with Robert Pattinson's character and all that stuff, I just didn't really like this film. It kind of falls flat for me. In 10th place for me is going to be Christopher Nolan's first film, Following. Following is a simple movie, but it works very well. It plays out very nicely, it's very entertaining, and the twist at the end is one that you do not see coming. It really shows what Nolan was able to do as a director, and it really shows his skill. It's a very great movie, even with its very low budget, and it's entertaining, and it's honestly pretty rewatchable. I think Following is one that goes very overlooked because of how amazing Nolan films have gone, but Following is just a simple but very effective movie, and I really enjoyed it. In 9th place for me is going to be Batman Begins, and this was a tough one to rank as it is a really great movie, but compared to the rest of Nolan's filmography, it isn't one that just stands out. Batman Begins is a very solid origin story. It really is a well introduction to the character of Batman and Bruce Wayne and who he is inside of this trilogy. I love Ra's al Ghul as the villain. He really works well. And the story of Gotham and just showing it more as a character than as a city really works for me. It's kind of a bit slow at times, and I really didn't like Rachel as a character. Sometimes the film is a bit forgettable, but it honestly works as a Batman movie. The score is phenomenal, the action is really on point. Batman Begins is a really awesome origin story, even though it does rank lower compared to the rest of Nolan's filmography. Coming in at 8th place for me is going to be Dunkirk, and this one is kind of sad that I have to rank this low. Dunkirk is an amazing film. The atmosphere of war in this one is just so amazing. It's visually stunning. It really just brings you into this atmosphere, and it just really shows you what you can do with war films and just all these crazy things that are going on that just really give you the feeling that you are in war, and that's what Dunkirk does so well. The visuals are crazy good, one of the best in Nolan's filmography for visual and cinematography. It is really, really visually stunning. And then the score is phenomenal here as well. Now, the two issues that I have here aren't too big, but they kind of hold this film back when it comes to the rest of Nolan's filmography. There's not really a central character or a character that you really are supposed to care about. We just see a bunch of different characters and follow different stories. And that's kind of a little bit of an issue here and there where you can't have a main character that you focus on or to give an emotional story about, but I think he does it very well enough so that the war is mainly the character, and I think that's what's very interesting about Dunkirk. And then my second issue is the little bit of differences in time is a little bit off. It doesn't really work for this film, and I think it would have just been better to have it fit in like a chronological order than just having a little bit of different time jumps between certain parts of the story. Overall, Dunkirk is an amazing movie though, and it is just such a great atmospheric war film. Coming in at 7th place for me is going to be Christopher Nolan's latest film, Oppenheimer, and this one is kind of sad that I have to rank it this low, but I think it needs another rewatch to really sit with me and to really make me feel like it deserves to be higher on this list. But for now, it's still an amazing film. Oppenheimer is just so well done. This is a really great biopic, just showing us the story, the progression, seeing all these little details, these emotional moments with our main character of Oppenheimer, just following his life story. It's very interesting how Nolan does it. All the scenes with the bomb are amazing, the visuals are crazy good, the score is phenomenal, and it just really works on a lot of levels. Cillian Murphy gives a great performance as Oppenheimer, and then RDJ is amazing in this film as well as a great supporting character. It just kind of comes together very nicely at the end, and I just really enjoyed it. It's a very great biopic, it's very well done. Now my issues are that there's a lot of dialogue that I can't really hear based on like how loud the score is in the background, and that's like something that's really annoying to me, and that's why I think it needs another rewatch. There's a lot of names in this film as well there where it's kind of hard to keep track of some people and a little bit of the story. And I think it is a bit long. I think after the bomb happens with Nagasaki and Hiroshima, it does drag on quite a bit. But overall, Oppenheimer is an amazing film, and it is one that is definitely worth watching in theaters. Coming in at 6th place for me is going to be The Dark Knight, and this was a really hard one to rank because I know it's a lot of people's number one, and I did have trouble placing it for 5th or 6th, but I came to the conclusion that it's 6th place. Now, of course, there's so many amazing things about this film. Heath Ledger's Joker is the best comic book villain of all time in any movie. He's absolutely phenomenal in this film. His performance is one of the greats of any film, and I think that's really one of the big standouts of The Dark Knight. There's some amazing action in here as well, a great score, and a really great opening scene and a great ending scene. There's a lot to love about The Dark Knight. But my one issue with the film is that it's not really a great Batman film. Batman doesn't do anything that's very heroic or really is taking care of his city. Because if he straight up killed the Joker, he would have saved so many lives. And I think that's just one of the really dumb things about his film. Like, I get the morals of no killing, but this guy has destroyed like millions, like billions of dollars in property damage. He's hurt so many innocent people with his crazy car chases and all that stuff. And it's crazy that Batman still thinks he's a really great hero of just not killing the Joker, because that's the dumbest thing ever. If he killed the Joker, he would have saved a lot of Gotham City. He would have saved a lot of people from harm, from losing a family member. If he just straight up killed the Joker, he would have saved thousands of lives. But since he didn't, he really just indirectly killed a lot of people. And that's what's really dumb about this film. I know a lot of people don't see it like that, but I think it's just so dumb that Batman doesn't kill the Joker in this film, because there's so many reasons why he should have. And then another small issue I had is that Harvey Dent's turn is kind of just really quick. It kind of doesn't really work for me because he really was a great hero. And then he just takes a straight up villain turn. And I get that he lost Rachel, but Rachel's a total L in this movie anyways. But like, it's like a huge turn that is, like, I know he lost everything, but it's something that you wouldn't really expect from his character just seeing him prior to this film. Like, if you saw little things about his character that were kind of like, oh, maybe he's going to make that turn, like if something really drastic happened, it would have made sense. They didn't really build up to that turn, and it kind of like didn't really fully work for me. But overall, Aaron Eckhart, it does a really great job with the character, and I do like a lot of moments with that. Overall, The Dark Knight is a fantastic film. Heath Ledger is one of the greatest comic book villains of all time. But the things with Batman and a little bit of Two-Face just kind of hold it back for me from being one of Nolan's best films. It's still amazing, still like a 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 movie. Coming in at 5th place for me is going to be The Dark Knight Rises. And that is like, I know a lot of people are going to give me a lot of hate for putting The Dark Knight Rises over The Dark Knight, but The Dark Knight Rises is just a really heroic film. This is what really paints Batman as being a true hero for Gotham, and a true hero for just me watching. You know, seeing him climb out of that cave, one of the best scenes in any comic book film, seeing him just being a real inspiration to the city, and really just kind of actually being the hero that Gotham really needs. And that's what's really great about this film. It's a really heroic Batman film. Bane's great in this one. Catwoman's pretty good as well. A couple issues are Talia al Ghul. Her character is just dumb as hell, and I can't believe Bruce was with her for that one time in the film. It was just kind of dumb having her thrown into the film. But, you know, Bane's great. There's a lot of chaos that goes in here, and it really just holds up as a film for me. An amazing score, some amazing action. The Dark Knight Rises is one that really goes under the wraps when it comes to Nolan's filmography, because I know a lot of people don't think it lives up to the hype or the amazement of The Dark Knight, but it's still an epic and amazing conclusion to the Dark Knight trilogy, and it really works. And that's why I put it slightly ahead of The Dark Knight. I think they can go neck and neck, and either day I could switch them back and forth. But for now, I'm putting The Dark Knight Rises ahead of The Dark Knight. Coming in at 4th place for me is going to be Inception, and Inception is just a phenomenal movie. Nolan really crafted something amazing here. And from Inception on to my first favorite film, they are all, I give 5 stars for them, because Inception is a phenomenal film. The score, the characters, the action, the emotion, there's so much to love about Inception. The ending that just really works, the dream states, the stakes of this film. There's just so much that works about Inception, and it all comes together very nicely by the end. Maybe a little bit of a drag here and there, but there's just so much to love about it. I love the layering of the dream. It becomes so complex and so interesting. And seeing Cobb's emotional weight with his character and his wife, and just seeing how the dreams have affected him, and just bringing this emotional weight to the film, it's really great. Leonardo DiCaprio does a great job with his character. And just, you're feeling that throughout the entire film. And then when you get to the end where he has to face Mal, that is just amazing. It's very, very well done. And then we just get that amazing ending scene with Cobb kind of coming to peace with himself and being able to be with his children. That's what really makes this one of Nolan's best films. Inception is a true masterpiece. Coming in at third place for me, this was really tough for choosing third and second. These are kind of neck and neck. But coming in at third place for me is going to be Memento. Memento is just so awesome. It's so different from any film I've ever seen. The storytelling just really makes this one of Nolan's great films. And just seeing how it plays out in 2 different timelines, and then, them coming together by the end, and you're being able to piece together all these things. Like, it's like a puzzle movie, and that's what makes it so interesting. It's something that you don't really see when it comes to cinema, and Memento is just so different in a lot of ways, and I love that. Guy Pearce is amazing as Leonard, our main character, and just following him throughout this journey. There's so much emotional weight to it as well. It just really works on so many levels. There's a lot of great things about trust, and just seeing how Leonard can't really trust a lot of people, and Memento just really uses that to the advantage. Aside from that, the side characters are amazing. Just the way that the story progresses is amazing. The stuff with Sammy, and just seeing how that's kind of Leonard's character, and that little twist there was really awesome as well. The ending is great. The opening is great. Just seeing this film, it really works on so many levels. The acting is phenomenal. There's some really great action in here as well. It really is truly one of Nolan's great films, and I love Memento. My runner-up is going to be The Prestige, and this is one that really surprised me, putting it this high on my ranking after rewatch, but it just really works. From the acting to the story to how it just progresses to the twists to the turns, it all really works. And just seeing how all 3 acts of the films are like the 3 acts of a magic trick. The first act is like the pledge, the second act is like the turn, and then the final act is like the prestige. It's very, very well done. Really, Nolan just shows his true talent here. This is a total masterpiece. Hugh Jackman's amazing. Christian Bale's amazing. Just seeing these 2 different stories with these 2 different magicians, and seeing how each of their stories is kind of different, but their rivalry is kind of what keeps them going. It's very, very interesting. I don't even know how Nolan was able to get me so invested in 2 magicians, even though I barely give a crap about magic. It just so works so well. Nolan really, really crafted something amazing here. Seeing the truth about the real magic, and then the really big twist with Christian Bale's character, it all works so well. There's a lot of emotional weight here too as well, where in the beginning-ish with Hugh Jackman's character and him losing something so dear to him, his wife, which really fuels his rivalry throughout the entire film, it just all really works very, very well as a film, and just progressing it very, very nicely. The Prestige is one of a kind of a film, and it's crazy how it's not my favorite Nolan movie, because this is a true masterpiece. But coming in at number 1 for me is going to be Interstellar, and I think that we can all agree that Interstellar is a one-of-a-kind movie. It's the best space movie of all time. It's the best sci-fi movies of all time, and it's one of my favorite films of all time. The score, the atmosphere, just seeing this visually stunning version of space, the emotions that you get watching this film, it's so out of this world. It's something that makes me truly love movies. It's something that just really takes you out of where you are and just brings you into this world of space, just making you feel so small and helpless. Nolan really crafted something amazing here. It carries such an emotional weight, but it also is just so wondrous. It's amazing, but it hurts. Interstellar is just one of the best movies of all time, and that's just my opinion, but I think it really is. Interstellar It's just so cool. It's just so awesome. It's just so awesome. It really is what movies are and what I love about movies. It's one of those movies that just makes me love movies. And that's why Interstellar is my favorite Nolan film and why Nolan is really my favorite director, because he makes those movies that make you love movies. And that's why Nolan is just such an amazing director. Other than that, with Interstellar, you got that emotional ending as well, those beautiful space scenes, the stuff with time. It all really works so well. Seeing his kids grow up in front of him, Matthew McConaughey's amazing Oscar-winning performance, Hans Zimmer, beautiful, beautiful score, one of the best of any movie. Yeah, Interstellar is just truly, truly magnificent. Every little detail of Interstellar, every little thing, it just is all so masterful. And that's why Interstellar is truly one of my favorite movies of all time, Nolan's best film. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to share your ranking down below in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.